Sometimes, life just keeps moving, and I tell myself everything's settled, old memories tucked away in a quiet corner of my heart. But then, in the middle of something, my mind unexpectedly drifts to a familiar face, no one else, but someone I once cared deeply for, an ex-lover. Maybe it's a random moment, or a habit etched deep into my subconscious. Then, quite surprisingly, like an unannounced chime from far away, my phone buzzes with their name, even though I thought I'd never see it again, or a friend casually brings them up in conversation. Or some nights, when everything falls silent, their image just lingers in my dreams, so real that when I wake up, I still feel their presence, as if our story never truly ended. In those moments, I can't help but wonder, is this just a meaningless coincidence in life? Or is there truly something unseen, some silent connection that binds souls, even when space and time have separated us, and perhaps, even when love has faded? This feeling is so peculiar, it's not something I try to conjure, it just arrives, like a gentle breeze carrying a faint scent of yesteryear. It leaves me restless, pondering, is their heart also turning towards me, if only for a fleeting thought, a momentary pang of regret? If you've ever lived with these feelings, ever yearned for an answer without guessing, without pleading or prying into an old flame's thoughts, then just relax and keep watching. We'll explore these very real signs, these very human stories, so you can personally feel the certainty of these unseen connections. This isn't about dry scientific proof, it's about understanding your own very real, very personal feelings. I won't just explain, I'll guide you, step by step, on how to recognize these signals in your daily life and how to trust your own intuition. If you're watching to find answers to those lingering questions, then take a deep breath, because the evidence from your own feelings is about to begin right now. Why do these feelings arise? That sudden feeling of knowing an ex is thinking of you, or your heart just can't stop remembering them, it's not magic or anything strange. It stems from deep-seated connections, emotional imprints you and they have shared. Everything has its own very personal, very human explanation, especially when lingering memories and regrets are involved. Imagine this, between two people who have dedicated a significant part of their lives to each other, who have shared countless joys and sorrows, countless intimate secrets, there always exists a very unique, very special bond. This bond lies deep within, it's not something you can see, touch, or hear with your ordinary senses. It's like each person has their own emotional frequency, and when two souls are deeply connected, those frequencies can easily tune into each other, creating a silent understanding, like hidden currents beneath a vast ocean. When an ex-lover is somewhere far away, and they're thinking of you intensely, especially with genuine, strong emotions, for instance, they might be missing you deeply, feeling uneasy about something related to you, or even feeling sad and tormented by what's past, by unspoken words, by decisions that led to your separation. At that moment, they are as if emitting a vibration of emotion that is very clear. This vibration isn't a physical sound or light, it's a subtle form of emotional energy, a wave of the soul, a sigh from memory. And because you once had such a deeply special connection with them, your heart will unconsciously receive that vibration. This feeling of receiving comes very naturally, you don't need to think or search for a logical reason. It's not something you make up or imagine. You simply feel it, a very real, very private knowing in your heart. It's like a faint bell ringing softly in your soul, signaling that somewhere, someone is thinking of you, and perhaps, is also caught in the same emotional lingering. Then there are times when that strange feeling about an ex is accompanied by something happening externally, something that feels uncannily aligned, almost too perfect to be a coincidence. This is what the psychologist Carl Jung called synchronicity. It might sound academic, but in simple terms, it's very relatable to everyday life, like how old memories or stories sometimes wink at you. Imagine you're working, your mind absorbed in numbers or words. Suddenly, your heart aches with a vague memory of your ex, a fleeting thought. Then, just minutes later, your phone buzzes, not with a message from them, but from a mutual friend, and in that message, your friend casually mentions your ex, or a place, or a movie you both loved. Or perhaps, you're lost in thought about them, and then you casually turn on the radio, and precisely the song you both used to listen to, a song tied to a shared memory, starts playing. Such occurrences are often dismissed as random coincidences, but Jung suggested they are more than that. It's not magic, nor is it someone deliberately orchestrating events. It's as if pieces of life's puzzle are spontaneously fitting together in a peculiar way. It's like there's a subtle arrangement unfolding around you, presenting you with a sign, a confirmation for that inner feeling. It makes you pause, thinking, could it be? It makes you feel that, vast as the world is, connected souls, even those separated, can meet at some point, regardless of physical distance. It's a whisper from life itself, reminding you of those unseen connections, of stories that aren't quite closed. Signs they're thinking of you when an ex-lover is far away and their heart misses you. The signals often come from within. They are hard to put into words, yet incredibly real, like private whispers from your own heart. First, a gut feeling, a hunch, might spontaneously arise. You're not trying to think of them, but suddenly, a strong, unexplainable feeling washes over you, as if someone is whispering that they're thinking of you. Or perhaps it's a sudden urge to contact them, even if you had no prior intention. It's like a click in your mind, without reason, yet so clear and irresistible. For instance, you might be busy with work, almost forgetting everything else, when suddenly, an ex's name or familiar face flashes in your mind. The urge to text or call them becomes so strong that you drop what you're doing, even though there's no specific reason to reach out at that moment. At the same time, your mood might subtly shift. You could be feeling normal, happy, or focused, but then your heart inexplicably sinks, a vague sadness washes over you as if you're unconsciously sensing someone else's sorrow. Or conversely, a gentle joy, a strange sense of peace might spread through you without anything specific happening around you. This feeling isn't your usual mood, it's as if you're receiving it from them, from a distance. It's like you're feeling their emotional state, an emotional resonance without words, a soul-level understanding, possibly their lingering regret. Imagine you're enjoying your Saturday morning coffee, feeling completely at ease. But suddenly, a profound, unexplainable sadness engulfs you. That evening, mutual friends mention your ex is going through a tough time after the breakup and feels very lonely, perfectly aligning with your morning's feeling. Sometimes, your body might also react in peculiar ways. You might feel a slight shiver, or get goosebumps unexpectedly even if it's not cold, as if an invisible breeze just passed through. Or a warm sensation might spread through your chest, or a slight tickle in your neck or behind your ear when you think of them. These reactions are often quick and subtle, like a physical signal indicating something is happening far away, an invisible touch that only you perceive, perhaps a manifestation of their thoughts. For example, you're watching a movie, fully engrossed. Suddenly, a wave of warmth runs down your spine, and you get goosebumps. Immediately, your ex's image pops into your head, accompanied by an inexplicable longing, as if someone just gently touched your soul from afar. Along with these feelings, their image might also flash in your mind. You're not trying to recall or reminisce, but suddenly, their face, their smile, or a small shared memory appears vividly in your head, like a silent, automatically playing film clip. It could be a very ordinary, simple moment, yet it's strikingly clear, as if they're standing right in front of you, alive and real, reminding you of a time gone by. Picture yourself doing dishes, your mind on tomorrow's tasks. Suddenly, your ex's image, giggling at your silly joke, flashes in your mind, clear down to the tiny wrinkles around their eyes, making you smile. Then, you might find yourself talking to them in your head. You're not actually speaking to anyone, but you automatically imagine what they would do or say in a certain situation, or you engage in an internal dialogue with them. It's like a silent conversation, just you and their image in your mind, a way to maintain a connection when direct communication isn't possible, when your heart longs to share with them as you once did. For instance, you've just encountered a difficult problem. You automatically imagine telling your ex about it, how they would react, and you might even hear their usual tone or advice in your imagination, as if they were sitting right beside you, bringing a sense of relief. At night, when everything is most still, dreams sometimes tell stories. You might dream of them more often, and these dreams aren't vague but become so real that when you wake up, the feeling of them, the story in the dream, still lingers, like a movie that just ended but left a lasting impression. Sometimes it's a happy dream recalling beautiful memories, other times it's a dream filled with longing or even unresolved regrets. The common thread is their vividness and profound impact, like a message from the subconscious, or an unannounced encounter. Consider this: you dream of walking with your ex in a familiar place, the warmth and happiness feel so real, as if nothing has changed. The next morning, you wake up with a deep longing and can't stop thinking about the dream, wondering what it means for your past relationship. Occasionally, the feeling is so strong that you might hear their voice echoing in your ear, even though no one is there. It could be your name being called, a familiar phrase they used, or just their distinctive tone. This sensation is often startling, making you instinctively look around, as if they are truly near, even when you know it's impossible. For example, you're sitting alone in a quiet room, and suddenly you hear your ex's voice calling your name very clearly, making you turn your head towards the door, even though you know no one is there, and your heart flutters. You might even have a specific knowing about them. You suddenly know they are doing something related to you, even without any confirmed information. This knowing isn't a guess, it's a very personal certainty, a strange resonance, a special intuition that needs no explanation, perhaps related to an old habit of theirs. For instance, you might suddenly feel your ex is looking at an old photo of the two of you, or listening to a song that was yours. Later, they might send you a casual text, but you have a strong hunch you were right, and your heart feels a strange flutter. Sometimes, you're somewhere, and suddenly feel a strong urge to turn and look in a certain direction, with no clear reason. And then, you might coincidentally see an object, a small scene, or someone passing by, that vividly reminds you of them, like an invisible thread pulling you. It's like a gentle tug from behind, leading you to a subtle sign, a delicate reminder from the past. Imagine you're walking on a busy street, and suddenly you feel compelled to look towards a flower shop. You turn, and coincidentally see a bouquet of roses your ex loved, or someone with a similar build passing by, stirring emotions within you. Finally, there's the appearance of familiar omens or signs. There are certain objects, images, or sounds that only you and that person share a special, private meaning with, example a specific flower, a color, an animal, a lesser-known song, a random drawing, a catchphrase. Suddenly, these things appear more frequently in your life by chance, like a silent signal, a gentle reminder that they are somewhere, thinking of you, sending a small message through these familiar things, making you remember old memories. For example, you and your ex have a special memory involving a sparrow. Then, one day, you keep seeing sparrows everywhere, from your window to your commute, or images of sparrows on ads or clothes, making you constantly think of them and that connection, wondering if it's a sign. Why do these feelings arise? You're wondering why these feelings appear, aren't you? Actually, it's not about superstition. We can understand it in very down-to-earth and practical ways, while also touching upon deeper aspects within us, especially when lingering feelings for an ex remain. Firstly, it's about the depth of emotional connection, the indelible imprints. Think of it simply: people who have been, or still are, very important to you leave a deep imprint on your heart. It's not a scar or a tattoo, It's an emotional imprint, a stamping onto your very being, onto how you perceive the world. It's like you and they wrote a long story together, and every line, every page, is deeply etched into your soul. Even if you are no longer physically together, or have even tried to move on, that imprint remains, untouched, residing in a very private corner of your heart. Strong emotions, like a deep, gnawing missing, a profound love that permeated every breath, regret for what's past, or even the sadness and torment of a breakup where what if questions still haunt you, these aren't just fleeting thoughts. They carry power, a unique and immense energy. The stronger and more genuine the emotion, the more easily it creates a special vibration, an invisible wave. This vibration is strong enough to transmit, crossing physical distance, and be felt by you. This isn't just when things are happy. It's precisely those lingering emotions, the anxieties about a relationship that ended but hasn't truly been let go, the unending longing, or even unspoken words from one side. These are the most intense sources of energy, making these feelings clearer, because they carry a tension, a yearning for resolution. Next, it's about the natural knowing of your heart, your mind as a remarkably sensitive receiver. Imagine this: your heart, or more accurately, your mind, possesses a special ability you rarely notice. It's like an automatic antenna, constantly active, constantly scanning its surroundings, not for radio waves, but for emotional waves, for waves of memory. Normally, your mind processes countless things every day without you even realizing it. It continuously absorbs information from your environment, from memories, from even the tiniest details, non-stop. But when you have a deep connection with someone, especially an ex, your mind has automatically, unconsciously absorbed and memorized so much about them. You've become accustomed to their frequency, to how they think, feel, their habits, their phrases. So, when they think of you intensely, they might create a very subtle psychological trace, an invisible vibration from their side, an afterglow from that deep imprint. And your mind, being so familiar with it, will naturally receive that trace. It won't immediately appear as clear words or images, but it transforms into a familiar feeling, a sudden thought, or an unexpected intuition about them. It's a knowing that you don't need to reason or try for, it just emerges. Now, let's talk about emotional energy and resonance, when two hearts intertwine. Here, I want to delve deeper into what I call energy and resonance. Let's view it not in a dry scientific way, but through the lens of human experience. Every strong emotion we feel, from passionate love, intense longing, to anxiety, or even unresolved torment, carries a unique frequency or vibration. You can feel this when you walk into a room filled with tension, or when you're around someone radiating joy, you feel uplifted too. That's the emotional energy each person emits, something that can spread or affect others. When someone is thinking of you intensely with strong emotions, especially those tinged with lingering feelings and past regrets, for example, they're missing you deeply, agonizing over a decision, or regretting things that can't be changed, they are as if broadcasting a very specific stream of emotional energy towards you. And because you have a deep connection with them, you're like a receiver already tuned into their frequency, a special emotional decoder. At that moment, these two emotional frequencies will resonate with each other. You'll feel this intertwining through the signs I've mentioned earlier, the shiver, the warm sensation, the sudden image, or the strange mood. It's like sensing someone's intense gaze from behind you, even before you turn around. It's a touch at the soul level, transcending physical space and distance. These feelings are real because emotions are real, and strong emotions always have a very clear impact on our minds and bodies. Lingering regret, unresolved worries, unspoken words, what if questions that remain unanswered, these are the most powerful sources of energy, making these feelings even clearer, because they contain a tension, a yearning for resolution. Finally, let's address the question, are these signs real? A practical and scientific perspective, absolutely, they are real in our experience. The feelings I've described, sudden shifts in mood, images appearing, shivers, are real psychological and physiological reactions. You are not imagining them. Many people have experienced similar things and shared them in everyday life. From a scientific standpoint, psychologists have been and continue to research intuition, the ability to know something without logical reasoning, empathy, the ability to feel and share others' emotions, and synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, as Carl Jung described, where an internal event aligns strangely with an external one. This research helps us understand how our minds work and connect with the world around us. However, it's crucial to distinguish, these signs are not specific scientific proof of direct thought transference, telepathy, via brain waves or other means. Mainstream science currently cannot measure or prove this. But that doesn't diminish the value of these experiences. They remain very real and deeply meaningful to each of us, as they reveal a wondrous aspect of the mind and human connections, extending beyond what we can see and hear. How to feel deeper? If you want to tune in better to these signals, you can try these very practical approaches. To feel these subtle signals more deeply, the most crucial step is to practice listening to your heart with genuine sincerity. When a strange feeling or thought about them suddenly arises, don't dismiss it or get lost in overthinking. Just pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and gently ask yourself, what is this feeling? Where is it coming from? Let it surface naturally, without trying to analyze or explain it immediately. At the same time, pay attention to your body. Observe if your body reacts in any way. Do you feel a shiver, a warmth, or a slight discomfort somewhere? Sometimes your body signals before your mind even catches up, acting like a physical compass for your soul. And to make your mind truly receptive, give it rest. Every day, dedicate a few quiet minutes to do nothing but focus on your breath. When your mind is less cluttered, less distracted by worries, you'll find it easier to tune into these subtle signals, much like a still lake reveals its depths. Next, try to journal your own feelings. You don't need to be elaborate, just jot down what you feel in a simple way. When you have a feeling and then a coincidence occurs, record it simply. What was the feeling? Happy, sad, missing. What was the image? Their face, a memory. What happened next? They called, met a mutual friend. Gradually, you'll discover your own pattern, how your intuition typically manifests. For example, every time I feel a pang in my chest, it seems they're about to contact me. And it's important to separate your desires from your genuine feelings. Be honest with yourself, did this feeling arise naturally, or am I trying to conjure it because I want them to miss me? True intuition often comes suddenly, not because you're forcing it. Finally, cherish deep connections, in whatever form they take. Even if a relationship has ended, accepting and honoring the profound emotions you once shared helps those echoes of the connection not to fade entirely but to continue resonating. And most importantly, live authentically with your emotions. When you are true to what you feel inside, whether joy, sorrow, or longing, your frequency becomes clearer, and you'll find it easier to tune into signals from others. In summary, these feelings are not something strange or unbelievable. They are a very real, very human part of deep connections. Listen to your heart, trust those peculiar sensations. Because, sometimes, that's precisely how the important people in our lives send us love, longing, or even lingering thoughts, no matter where they are, and that, in itself, is truly miraculous. If this video has resonated with you, if you've found yourself in these words, and wish to continue exploring the depths of the soul, to understand more about the wondrous connections in life, then don't hesitate. Hit the like button on this article to let me know you connected. Share it with anyone you think might need these insights. Leave a comment below so we can talk about your experiences. And most importantly, Subscribe to the Love and Psyche YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos that help you understand yourself and your relationships in the most genuine way. Together, we won't be alone in the heart's deepest ponderings.